We're live. We're here. Guys, we're back with another episode of Shut Up Marks, the second episode this week, guys. We're here live on, not live, well,
kind of live.
Kind of live.
It's live.
It's live at Dave's Hot Chicken, Route 1 in Saugus. This show is brought to you by Dave's Hot Chicken, the fastest growing restaurant franchise in the entire United States, with locations opening across New England, Nink, monthly, okay?
I just had a sandwich. It was really good.
I was going to say, you were kind of a fan of the Sangy, right?
Yeah, it's really good. I feel like I'm on a diet, but not today.
No, it's whatever, yeah.
I'm
So we decided to loosen up. It's Friday afternoon.
I need a beer, but not right now.
We got to get Dave's Hot Brewery going at some point. But, most recently, by the way, Worcester, Massachusetts, 41 Park Ave. Enjoy your new location, guys. You deserve it. We will see you next, I believe. Al's going to shoot me if I don't remember this. Rhode Island. I believe it's somewhere I forget what the town is in Rhode Island, but we're going South New England here, which is nice. Just did Burlington, Vermont. Busiest Dave's Hot Chicken in the entire chain. Manchester, New Hampshire before that. We're rocking. Top Dog Law, by the way, guys, if you or a loved one is injured at work, Nink, wherever it is, it doesn't matter, on the road, in a business, wherever. Definitely not at Dr. Lepresti's office, because it's the safest practice in the entire medical whole field.
It is.
Never a problem. But if you or a loved one you know is hurt at work or anywhere else, you call Top Dog, the guy with the commercial on 98.5.
Yeah.
You know, like those hilarious fucking almost parody commercials?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my guy.
Yeah. Carrying a neck brace in your car, you hit somebody, you just 1,000%
right immediately. You have to have one. It's like that and duct tape you have to have on you at all times.
Zip ties.
That too. And so that's Top Dog Law, another great sponsor, and The Jewel, which is a brand new apartment complex down in Attleboro, Mass.
Oh, Attleboro. Okay.
That's your former. That's right. It's old stomping grounds for Nink here, and brand new luxury apartments, very fairly priced for the market, believe it or not. And
gotta have a good job.
And they are filling up. They're halfway full right now, a little bit more, 60% actually. I think they get 27 units out of 43 filled. So please check them out for all your real estate needs. And with that being said, guys. Guy really doesn't need much of an introduction. I know that's like a cliche way to start a podcast, but we could introduce him. The Resma, two-time Super Bowl champ. Purdue right now. All right, so we're gonna kick this off. You know what?
What are the language restrictions?
None whatsoever.
All right.
So literally none. Purdue. Yeah. I mean, listen, man. Rob Ninkovich, Patriots legend, finally here. It's been a long time coming, this episode,
it's
man.
Been like
a lot of detail.
Like a couple of years we've been trying to go back and forth.
I think it has been
tough.
that.
Dude, I got 3 kids, a wife. I get bossed around every day.
Does life just chill? When you have the kids, man, it's got to just be like, you're just like, my life is just different now.
It's just happy wife, happy life, and then the kids, you just gotta, for me being a football player, have for a long time, and then having that freedom to coach and do all the stuff that I do after school. I enjoy it. I love it, but it's just, you always have something.
Sometimes I feel like you're still getting coached with kids, though. They're still like, Dad, we want to go do this right now, and we want this for Christmas, or else we hate you.
Like, we're not doing that, I was raised with, like, the cuff in the head, like, hey, but I don't do that these days, because,
Midwest values, you know what I mean?
It's a balance. It's a balance. But, no, we actually have our flag football championship tomorrow. The Saints are playing the Giants. So I'm coach. I'm the OC. So I got a lot of RPO.
Tell us what the system, please, here. Like, what are we looking to execute in this championship game
we're
here?
the only team that actually throws the ball. We like to get the ball deep down the field.
Not shy about that. We're going to take shots early.
Notes on that. Got to take shots, and I'm an RPO guy because in flag, you cannot rush. You can't rush until there's only one rusher in this league. So you only have one rusher, right? And then the rest of the guys have to read run pass. So what I do is I like to really hold that run pass conflict. Okay. So you read it slow, and then those defenders, they're like caught in a bind. So then I try and get over the top, pull it, hit it over the top.
How do you feel about the transition from out of Pop Warner football, like holding off on tackle football as long as possible, implementing the flag thing? Obviously, you're a guy that's been full pad since day one.
I didn't play football till high school.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
That's the beauty of football, man.
High school.
You hear that a lot. No shit,
No football till high school. So I was like 185 pounds in 7th grade, so nobody really let me play because there was a 135-pound weight limit.
Yeah, you were one of those guys?
I was one of the
right.
The kids that was, you call me like a hefty, husky.
Sure. Built for Purdue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is Purdue built right there.
Basically.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't play till high school, and then when I went to high school, they put me at offensive line, and I hated it.
Oh, my God.
I think offensive line is like the worst position. Just, you don't Would you just block?
It's just the most thankless. It's the most thankless position,
yes.
and there's no glitz or glam
You
about
go make a hole for somebody, they score, they get the chicks. Like it's not that cool.
Legitimately pull pancake like Ray Lewis up the middle, and no one gives a shit. Nobody cares.
Good job. Do it again. Well,
That's
actually, I used to talk to Sebastian Vollmer about this, and he's like, dude, it's such bullshit. This is bullshit. I have to play 65 to 80 snaps, and if I let up one sack, I suck.
Yeah.
If you play 65 to 80 snaps and you get one sack, you're awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
All you need is a sack, one sack.
And then they're like,
couple tackles.
And you're on the highlight reel immediately. You're on the highlight reel. You're on the highlights on the highlight reel immediately.
Offensive line, you make one mistake, you're the guy that screwed it up for everybody.
And they're not even like, oh, a guy got a sack. They're like, look at this turnstile that got absolutely dummied on the offensive line, pigeon tossed around and shit.
I remember my freshman year, I hated it. But then I was faster than like the running backs.
Quick feet, big guy, quick feet.
Fast. I was the fastest kid on the field. So then they were like, oh, let's put him on defense, and then the rest is history.
And then then
that worked. Yeah, just get the ball, see ball, get ball, and turned out to be a good investment.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's the right time to pivot there.
That's it.
It worked out pretty well.
It was good. Yeah, it was a good change of pace.
How did you feel? So were you like? Did you grow up in a Purdue like family?
No, not at all. I'm like blue collar. My dad's an iron worker. My mom's a teacher.
Yep.
Joliet, Illinois. I was born in Blue Island.
Yeah.
The only reason I went to Purdue was because I thought I had a chance to be like the tweener. So back in, I said back in the day, back when
it's officially back in the day now. By the way, I hate to say it's back in the day for me. It's back in the day for you. It's back in the day for Jeff. It's back in the day for Dr. Lepresti. It's not back in the day for anybody else here.
If you wear like a full one-piece hoodie with sweatpants, it's not back in the day.
It's definitely not back in the day. Yeah, Shop Eye is in. Yeah, he's in a full-blown. Those didn't exist back in the day.
No, you didn't wear that back in the day.
You know what I mean? No, it would have had a Fila logo on it or an Adidas logo on it.
It would have had something down the side.
Yeah, it also would have been about $7.
Or you've been able to rip off the pants like tearaways.
100%. Yeah, the tearaway warm-up pants.
Like tearaway warm-up pants. Those were cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, they also would have been
the typical guy in a T-shirt with like the regular like Yellowstone hat and then like light wash jeans with a rip in the knee.
Look at that. That's Bush Light right there. See, is what that is. Isn't that beautiful? Look at this kid.
I love it.
Giving tours around Yellowstone National Park. I love it. It's unbelievable.
That's Rip over there.
And then Jeff wore a suit jacket, obviously, because he needs to let everybody know who he is.
Is that camel? Is that camel? It's camel hair. I know. That's a big thing.
It's unbelievable. They work hard. They deserve it.
I'm not even messing with Doc because he's got some.
No, we're not going to say anything about Matt. Absolutely not. When he comes on the camera,
no socks on with the ankle tats. You got socks or the low socks? All right,
it's halfway down his heel. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Well, back in the day, they didn't make low cut socks for dudes. So like, you'd take a full sock and fold it.
Yeah,
so you fold it halfway, and it's all the way down your foot.
Yep.
But that's what you did. You're from
Styles changed. Yeah, exactly.
So I went to Purdue because they had smaller defensive ends that were like before the whole outside linebacker pass rush thing was like
before you could be 5'11" and be a linebacker.
Yes.
Yeah, I get you.
So to be a Big Ten defensive end, you had to be like 6'6", 300 pounds. You know? So to be a linebacker, you had to be like 6'3", 260.
Wiggy brought this up the other day on the podcast. It's so funny you say this. Is the football archetype like dead?
Oh, it's so done.
As far as like, you got Kyler Murray's 5'8" running around the field. You know what I'm saying?
If you took a good football team from 10 years ago and the best football team now, I think they're destroying them.
You think the guys from 10 years ago dog walk them?
Really? The offensive line couldn't block them. Linebackers would be thumping everybody.
Yep.
There's not a fullback in the game, so they'd be running the zone.
What happened to the fullback, man?
Because they did away with power. They did
I don't know
zone.
Why.
So zone, the best way to beat zone, like think of it this way. Zone is everyone's running. So the linemen are all running, and the running back's trying to get wide and stick his foot in the ground and go north-south.
Sure.
If you just have a good defensive end, a big guy that just could take a tackle and stand him up, the zone stops.
Those Julius Peppers, those guys from back in the day
Julius
that would just
Peppers,
be like...
I mean, those dudes would just destroy tackles.
Unless you had Orlando Pace or Jonathan Ogden on those guys, it was going to be a problem.
So back in the day, tackles used to punch. Like they literally used to try and punch your head off. Now they just try to absorb and grab you.
That's how it's changed?
Now defensive ends, they don't really care about the run. They just run up the field. They're just trying to get to the quarterback.
Right.
Because that's what makes money. Like you're not going to get paid off being a run stopper. Like,
Okay.
every single D lineman's like, I need to get to the quarterback because that's how I'm going to get paid.
I need 11 and a half sacks a year.
I need
you know
10
what
plus.
I'm saying?
If I get 10 plus, I'm going to get paid.
So there's no more like setting the edge and holding, like,
No,
you know what I mean?
running
Like,
everyone's running up the field. So if you watch like situational football, like you'll watch a team in 4 minute, which 4 minute is end of the game, you got to get the ball back.
Yeah.
Teams are just going to run the ball and they're pass rushing. Like, you got to stop the run. Stop the run.
Stop the run. Like,
if you can't stop the run, you're soft.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, I'm 32, so I grew up watching
And the whole thing,
NFL.
like Mayo came out and said the team's soft.
Give us a take on it.
I've always been taught, if you can't set the edge, if you can't stop the run, if you can't run the football and you can't play special teams, like you can't cover kicks, you're soft. So I have no problem saying that. And a former, like as a player, players know when you're being soft. So like if I was on the field and me or you together, like, hey, we got this gap and your ass is getting 3 yards, getting pushed back, I'm going to look at you and say, dude, step your shit up and
let's
get
go.
the fuck off the field.
Right.
Like, that's the way it should be.
That's it.
You know, I think everyone took that, and we live in a society now where everything is instant. Like, you look at your phone, you get instant gratification. You don't buy a car, you lease it because that's instantly gratifying when you turn it in 2 years and get a new one. Nobody wants to buy a house anymore because they don't have a down payment, but because they like, oh, I want to be in this like cool new place for like 2 years and I'm going to move because I want the freedom to do that. Like, nowadays, there's no like waiting. So I feel like right now with the Patriots, nobody's waiting. Like, oh, let's see how this develops. And they're already like, Mayo needs to be fired. That's bullshit. Like, the guy.
I was gonna say, where are you at with the team?
He needs to have an off season. Like, they had one off season. Looks like they got their quarterback. I mean, Drake May looks pretty damn good.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Drake. There's a lot of things you could pick at. Drake is not one of them right now.
No.
And you know what? If your quarterback isn't your biggest issue or a glaring issue,
it's a good thing. Now.
I feel like that's like a silver lining problem to have. You know what I mean? Everything else is fixable and shit.
I mean, you are the coach after Bill Belichick, which that's really hard. That's like being Cam Newton after Tom Brady. That's like being whoever
it's a real
was
tough.
It Tony Kukoc after Michael Jordan? I don't know.
Tony Kukoc, my God.
It's like a really hard position. Number one. The position that you're in, so the Patriots, if you looked at the roster before the season started, what were the glaring needs? Tackle, which they still need a tackle, which they're having issues at offensive line. Receiver, Polk needs to catch more footballs or start to do something.
Where are you at with him? Are you
I think
like
he's young. I think he's a rookie. Like,
all right.
I don't buy into the whole like the media here. You turn on any radio station, it's like Polk does a peace sign after the game. Maybe he's piecing you. I don't know. Maybe he's like trying to separate his mind from all the shit that he's got to deal with.
Would that have flown back on your Patriots teams though? Would you have had guys sending things out on social media after?
I don't think there was like
not really. No, not really.
It wasn't like. Well, here's also too like you have all these kids that have all been influenced by social media. They're all what 20 years old.
7, 8 years.
Yeah, 10 years of their life. Since they're 10 years old, they get their phone. That's all they live on. Like, I talked to my nephew. He's 21 years old. He doesn't talk to chicks.
What happened to that?
He like hits them up. Like, hey, yeah, we linked up. Like, that's
Remember
cool.
the days where you have to like plan out what bar or club you were going to based on like how good looking the chicks were there and stuff like that? Be like, yo, the Rack, like, yeah, we're going to the Rack, the Avalon or something like that. You know, Jeff still does that now.
You have to be like, and if you can talk. So this is the one thing I tell my nephew. I'm like, dude, if you can talk to people, if you can actually have a conversation, you'll crush it in business. Because all these young kids now, they're going to walk into job interviews, they don't speak. They're going to go into like, how do you go into a sales job and not be able to talk to somebody or look them in the eye? When I'm coaching and I got 8-year-olds and I go to talk to a kid and he doesn't look at me, I say, look me in the eye when I'm talking to you. And the kid's like, I mean, maybe because I'm scary, but at the end of the day, like, I think it's important, and it goes back to like all these rookies in the NFL now. If even Bill coming in, having a group of rookies that have probably been at like 4 schools in 5 years because they didn't want
NIL shit.
They didn't want to wait their turn.
Well, you can't build a program anymore.
No,
you can't build a program.
So when I was young, it was like, okay, I got to pay my dues. I got to work harder than that guy to beat him out. Now they're just like, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go to the place that gives me the job. Like,
and pays me to do so, by the way.
So, like, it doesn't make sense. And now you have – what I feel bad for are the guys that get into the NFL with an opportunity are out of the league in 3 years, because that's what's going to happen. A lot of these guys are going to be out of the league in 3 to 4 years.
Statistically, it's like 70% of guys.
If you don't perform, you're out.
Yep.
So then there's going to be this mental health issue across the board, because these guys, number one, have a little bit of money, right? Say you got $500,000 in your name. That's not gonna buy you a house.
It's not. It's great.
It's
don't
a great
get me wrong.
start.
Great
but if
start.
You don't have something
right,
that you're gonna build off of.
Right.
That's not shit. It ain't shit. Like everybody thinks that they got something. You come in, you got a couple $100,000. Like, oh no, you need to like have a career and make millions to think that you can actually take that money and do something with it. Versus like, oh, I'm gonna play a couple years and I'll be fine. I'll find something else to do. It's like, no, this is the job that makes you the most money.
Yeah,
so
you're never gonna get it's if you get to professional.
You're never gonna have an opportunity like it ever again.
You're never gonna get like, I don't know what other job or line of work you're gonna find that can set you ahead in life as quickly as professional sports can.
No, I mean, look at some of these guys. So now this is the issue that I have with the NIL. You have a quarterback, for example, like it's a team sport. So what happened, and I know the name and likeness, blah, 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 all that bullshit. Oh, the schools are making a lot of money. Yeah, schools are making a lot of people are making a lot of money, right?
Sure.
The players also go to school for free. They come out of school with no debt, and then they potentially have an opportunity to get drafted. So for me, you turn a team sport into an individual sport where a quarterback's making $4 million, and the guy that's literally protecting his ass is driving his high school Toyota Tundra, like, and making like $50,000.
The kid from UNLV was just like,
the kid from UNLV that said, you know what, I was supposed to get $100,000, so I'm out. Well, $100,000 at the end of the day, if he would ball out in his senior year and got drafted in the second round, he's gonna make $2 million. Like, so now he transfers out. Who knows what's going to happen to him? He might get hurt. His career might be over. He might, football's not guaranteed. He goes,
blows his shoulder out or something. God forbid.
God forbid.
But it might.
But that's football. That's the risk you take when you play the game, or when you decide to leave, red shirt, go somewhere else. And then you're not guaranteed. There's more people in the transfer portal than there is jobs.
Remember remember the days of when like you would hear rumors about a program that was like, dude, these kids are going to be really good in like 2 years. Like Florida's got a big senior class coming through, like that type of thing. And it was like this like thing that it wasn't, it was in the media. You would hear guys talking about it on shows and stuff, but there was no real social media way to track guys, highlight tapes and shit or any of that. So continue. Yeah.
You also build a team and you build a good chemistry, because at the end of the day, football is all about communication. Anything that works, any successful championship level business, football, basketball, hockey, anything, everybody's on the same page. They have good communication.
Yep.
If you don't have good communication and you don't have good chemistry, that is when shit goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
So I look at Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
They have a veteran head coach. They have a veteran quarterback. They have veteran guys on that team. I think it's going to be hard for those guys to get beat.
I do too.
Especially in a shitty, I think the league is in a down year the last 2 years. 2 to 3 years.
I was going to say, how do you feel like the parity is in the league right now?
I think you're seeing less talented, less technically efficient players. So offensive linemen, instead of putting themselves in a better position, they got to hold, they got to grab. DBs, receivers, they're not hitting people. So back when you could actually hit somebody, there was a little bit of like
it's a good
fear.
Time.
There was fear, like, hey, I can't go across the middle there. I'm going to get my ass killed.
Or Ed Reed's going to absolutely decapitate me. And
so it changed the dynamic of the game to where you had more durable players.
Sure.
Because if you're getting hit and you're lifting and you're doing that, I understand the head thing. At the end of the day, though, like the average male life is like 73 years, I think. 73 years.
I think so.
If you were to say, hey, Rob, you're going to play 11 years in the league, you're going to make millions of dollars, you're going to live to be like 70. Would you do it? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's after 70 anyway? I'm not going to feel great at 80.
Right.
Like,
just restart at 88, become a painter or some shit.
I feel great at 90. Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyone that's 90 years old feels terrible.
Right.
So, yeah, it's great.
Unless you're like Jack LaLanne from back in the
he's not even
juicing
around
guy.
anymore.
And
I think he lived at like 88.
No,
so,
yeah.
Like, yes, they had to protect guys. And thinking back to like when dudes were getting KO'd on like kickoff repeatedly, there needed to be something changed there.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I would see a guy get knocked out 4 times in the same game. sleep, frozen.
Legit.
Froze, locked up.
I don't want to say it in a rude way, but like Tuid. Like Tuid,
Yeah,
like
Tua.
tag.
I
Like,
mean, I've seen that a million times. Like guys
that
get
must
froze
be
up.
not even
It's
like a
normal.
thing for you.
It's normal.
What do
It's
you
not
think? Where is his? I don't want to say where's his head, like literally
Money.
and figuratively, but like
money.
that's it.
I mean, why? We just talked about
Right.
it. What is your biggest asset to being a professional football player?
It's the
amount of money that you can make.
Yup.
Now, there's also an addictive part to playing professional sports.
Right.
Why do guys that are beyond their prime decide to continue to play when they know they don't have it, when they look like they don't have it?
And that's in anything. That's football. That's MMA guys that are like, you could tell, like this guy's out of gas,
Cowboy
man.
wants to come back for 2 more fights.
Why? Like, dude, you were 2-7 your last like
Why?
9 fights.
He'll get jabbed and he'll get knocked out.
100.
Like you could take as many, stem cells and the whatever.
Chuck Liddell.
Chuck Liddell took a.
Chuck was the fucking man. Like these guys might remember. Chuck Liddell was the fucking man in the UFC for a while. Talking like late 2000s.
Yeah, he was the dude.
He was the dude. Just a beast. Just a man. Just throwing bombs in there, knocking guys out. Towards the end, you know what's funny? Once you take one bad knockout, it's way easier for it to happen again and again. You know what I'm saying?
To understand like how the knockouts actually happen, it's your brain in your head getting rattled quickly. But you also have like these connectors that when you do get knocked out really bad, it's easier to get knocked out again. So once you start to get knocked out, it's really a lot easier. You can take, it's like a scale, less and less and less damage. So you see like an older guy. That's why I think Tyson fighting is the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, if he takes a tough shot, it's
Why would he do that? Why would he do it?
The money, buddy.
There you go.
The money,
Why does
pal.
anybody do anything?
Why would Mike Tyson get off his couch at almost 60 years old after he's a top 5 heavyweight of all time to fight Jake Paul?
Just for the cash. Now, I ask people this all the time. Like, if I was going to ask you, like, hey, you can go in an Indy car. You can go 250 miles an hour, right? I don't know if you're going to live, but it's up to you. Now, if you're like, I don't think that's the risk and the reward. I don't think I want to do that.
That's a no immediately.
If I said, hey, I'll give you $1 million bucks.
Right?
If I give you $1 million bucks, you go 250,000 or 250 miles an hour in this car, you might die. What are my chances? I think I'm gonna go 250. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
Everything is risk and reward. Like if you have a high risk, you have the reward.
My thing with him is he's like adamantly like, nope, not wearing the guardy cap, and I'm definitely coming back. And I was like, damn, this guy didn't hesitate for a second.
Have you ever seen the 37U football stuff?
No, what is that?
It's like.
Don't tell me it's semi-pro football.
It's like semi-pro football. It's guys like that. It's like me and you. Well, it's like you and your guys over here.
It's just going to catch a stray.
It's like you throwing a helmet on and just going out there. But I'm talking like their guys are getting cleaned out. Like they're running for a kickoff and they're just getting
Are they in pads? Are they in pads? Oh, it's full pads.
Full pads.
Like
37U football. It's like old dudes like on the streets.
Dude, I'm sorry. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my
real football, not flag. Real tackle football.
Do you remember how many semi-pro teams used to be in Massachusetts? And it would be guys like legitimately paying to play football, and they'd be like, I play semi-pro. I'm like, bro, if you played semi-pro football, you'd be getting paid to play like football. Like, what do you mean?
Like playing semi-pro football is almost saying like, I signed up for my town.
It's literally exactly. I'm not trying to laugh. I appreciate anybody going out there and wanting to still grind, especially a sport like football where you can't really have like a men's league.
Oh,
you know what I mean? You can, but like you're a legit lunatic, dude.
So when I retired at 32, so I was young, right? Yep. Or I was old, but I was young. I played 11 years.
You were hurt right at the end of the year. Oh, you were hurt.
I was perfectly fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I retired.
Okay.
So my thought process, my last game was the Atlanta game, right?
Oh my God.
The comeback game. Okay, so here's my thought on this. If you're in your 30s, you never should put a helmet and pads on again unless you're being paid a lot. Like you should never put a helmet and shoulder pads on unless you're going to make money off of it.
So when Barry Sanders turned like 31 and was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out of here.
I made my money, I'm good.
Yep.
And he's smart for it because if you had played 3 to 5 more years, you'd take a lot more damage.
Because if you ever listen to Barry talk, totally fine. Yup, he sounds fantastic. He sounds great. Yeah, he is.
For certain sports, if you're a basketball player, if you play golf, even hockey, like you could go and do other things that kind of give you that. You could scratch that itch. You know, like if you were a basketball player, you could go play pickup games. Scal could go play pickup basketball.
Yeah.
You can never put your football pads on.
That's what I'm saying.
The last time that I put a helmet and shoulder pads on was a Super Bowl. Like, that's it. And you're never going to do it again.
That's got to be the greatest final game maybe ever, right? And nobody realized it was Nink that had it this whole time. Everyone thinks it's Ray Lewis.
Yeah, it's the last game I played in.
That was the last game you played in, right?
There's only a few guys that have had a Super Bowl. And I credit my mom, Debbie, very smart lady, Masters. She's like, Rob, tell me what else you need to do after this game that you haven't already accomplished from this point on. And I was like, she didn't make me retire, but I was like, you know what? That's a good freaking question.
When she hit you with it very like practically like that.
It was like in the car after like in the off season driving home. She's like, what else do you have to do in football? She said, what does 12 years give you that you don't already have in 11? I'm like,
I have a hard time answering that, and I didn't even play. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not even you.
And like,
so it's like
the money, you could make an extra $1 million or $2 million or whatever, but like, that's not going to change your lifestyle. Like if you were making 10 more $1 million, like say if Bill was like, hey Rob, we're going to pay you $10 million, my ass is playing my 12th year, right?
Right.
But if it was like 2 after taxes, football players pay 51% tax, 52%.
Really?
38 to the government, right? So you got to pay, you're the highest tax bracket. 625 to mass, right? 3% agent fee. They got the millionaire tax. And then every state that you play in, you got to file a tax return. So every state,
like a game check if you play in Tennessee or some shit or whatever.
Well, they don't have state tax in
Tennessee, but you know what I mean. Yeah,
I'm saying like if you play in Illinois, you play the Bears, you have to file a tax return in the state of Illinois because that's where you got paid.
Paid technically.
So like you're making 48% of what you actually made. So think of it this way:
that changes a lot.
If you make $1 million cash. Every dollar you spend of that $1 million cash that you've already paid tax on, you're paying $2. So if I pay $50,000 for a car, I would have had to have made $100,000, right, to pay for that because you're getting taxed, and then you're paying tax on that.
And meanwhile, everybody thinks you're Michael Jackson, just slinging stupid money around all over the place.
Too,
yeah, he did too. It's tough. Like, yeah, man, you don't really notice it until because like Gen Pop wouldn't know that, you know, like regular ass people, but like. When you hear about
and then
how...
people are like, oh, boy, me, you had to pay a lot of taxes. It's like, all right, well, when you pay taxes too, you're pissed. If you make $400,000, you got to pay 100 and whatever to the freaking government. You're not happy about that. It's the same ratio.
Can you, if I'm a guy that just got drafted by the Bill Belichick Patriots, can you give me like a list of things you need to be to play for Bill? What do you need to have to play for Bill?
You need you need to be dependable.
Okay. So
he would always say, I would take dependability over ability. So being available. Like if I hired 3 people, right? Mm-hmm. And 2 of the people I knew were probably more qualified, but I couldn't count on one of them to get there on time and be there, and I couldn't count on that person. I'd take another person that was probably a little less talented.
That's going to show up every day, and you know what you're going to get.
That isn't 20 minutes late. That isn't giving you a line of shit like, my car broke down, all that shit.
Yep.
Like, Bill would always say, I will take your dependability every day. I know you're going to be here. I know you're going to be on time. I know when I look up, you're going to be sitting there ready to go. So I would say being dependable, being coachable. Mm-hmm. So you got to be coachable. You have to learn how to play the game or learn in any aspect. How do I get better? If I suck, right? How do I not suck? What do I have to do to not suck? Show me what I need to do. You got to be coachable.
Show me you can adjust.
You have to adjust.
Okay.
You got to adjust.
Gotcha.
And then you got to perform. Yeah. Like you can show up on time and you can be coachable, but if you go out on the field and you can't do shit, I don't care who you are, you're out.
Can't block anybody, can't get pressure, can't catch the ball.
And to have any type of leadership. So like this is for all you young kids too. You can't lead if you don't perform. So like if you don't actually perform at a high level, you're not going to be able to get a group of people and be like, hey guys, listen what I'm telling you. They're going to look at you and say, shut the hell up.
Well, the other thing is like nobody wants to listen to the guy that's always rah-rah and then like, so I was a baseball player in high school and then going 0 for 3 with 3 Ks. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, if you're going to do all this talking and yapping before the game, like you got to do something on the field that helps us win.
Like the biggest leaders have production, performance, and consistency. So, you know, when Tom said something, you're like, oh shit, all right, yeah. Better do it.
I should probably fucking do it.
You know, when you see like Teddy Bruschi. Like Teddy was kind of a dick. Like Teddy's kind of like.
We talked about Teddy on the Wiggy episode, by the way. People forget how much of an animal he was at Arizona.
Oh,
that dude was
a pass rusher. He's a
yeah,
pass rusher.
he was a beast at Arizona.
He could be like very in his own mood, and you don't know what you're gonna get.
When Julian Edelman tells the story about like, I forget what it was. Like he was doing like scout team punt and just like fielding punts, and Bruschi he said it on his own show. It's a great story. I forget what happened. He like went to block or something. It is, yeah. There, it's a little creamsicle action. Quick review.
Oh my God, I'm gonna go run. That's got some power to it.
That's got some pop in it there.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of sugar.
Could have had those on the sidelines in how do you call it in the early days of the NFL.
When I was playing, I used to make Ninko juice. You want to know what Ninko juice is?
Do I want to know what Ninko? Yeah, I do.
Ninko juice is. I'd take a Gatorade bottle,
okay,
right? Just like your old
green
Gatorade bottle. I'd put tape around it. I'd put Ninko juice on it. So I would take 2 shots of 2 shots and it'll explode. Two scoops and it'll explode. 2 scoops of Fast Twitch. 2 Red Bulls. And to top it off, I would take a goo. You know what goo is?
Nope.
It's like
what the fuck is
it's this? Like a long distance, like runners take it. It's like carbs, and I would squeeze
like legitimate carbo, just
like
a tube of carbohydrates,
tube of carbs, and I would squirt it in there, and then they would have this pill called it's a caffeine pill, right? So it's caffeine. I don't know how many.
How are you alive? Is what I don't understand. How do you still have a working heart and like function? Like what is going? Like, dude.
But I used to take little shots of that before a series, and I'd be ready to go. I'd be jacked up.
Yeah, I would hope you would be. You might be dead if you weren't, because that's crazy.
No getting tired, baby.
That's how we get that extra step in the Purdue pass rush. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Speaking of Purdue, had the pleasure of meeting Matt Light last night at the lovely In Boston event. His wife wrote a great piece in Boston about Lenny Clark. She's great. They were Foxborough people for a long time, like lived there. I told him Nink was coming on the show. He's like, dude, listen to me right now. He goes, I need you to ask Nink. He goes, you want a good podcast story?
No, let me do it.
Trust me. Hi,
I'm Matt Light, a world of investing. He's got the perfect voice and the fluctuation on how he speaks.
He really does. He's got a very like surly voice.
He does.
He's like Walter Cronkite if he played.
He's a big hunter. He's a manly man.
Yeah, he really is. And then
me, not so much. I don't like hunting.
Which is where this story is going. He's like, ask Nink about the one time I took him hunting and how that went.
Yeah, so me personally, I'm not a big Lyme disease fan. So anything that can stick with you forever.
Yep.
Lingering
never
things,
goes away.
You never want anything with H. So anything else you can fix. And Lyme, that's not good either. So HIV, hepatitis.
Nothing with H is a great observation, by the way, because that's
Nothing with H.
Yep. You're right. Continue, please. Yes.
That lasts forever. So I go turkey hunting with him, and Matt's like,
where were you guys hunting, by the way?
We were in the plain. We were in like Plainville, like North Attleboro.
Oh, this is Massachusetts.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys were back home, like in the off season or some shit.
No, this is in Mass. This is in Mass.
All right. Wow.
There was this first time is in Mass. The second time I went to Ohio with him.
Got you.
So the first time sets up the second time. So the first time we go turkey hunting, and I don't want ticks. I don't want anything. So there's this stuff afraid called, of them. Sawyer Brown. So you put it on your clothes. So I put I put tights on, like pants, socks up to my knees, tights, scarf, like another layer, gloves. Like I'm like, I don't want that on me. So we go to this. It was like somebody's house. It was like a yard, right? We're in the backyard of somebody's house, and I shoot this turkey, right? So Matt's like dragging this turkey. This old lady comes out, and she's like, "You didn't hurt my turkeys, did you?"
Oh my fucking god! Dude,
and Matt's like, she's like, "I feed them every day," and Matt's like, "No, they're fine. Turkeys are great back there." And I'm like, "Do we just kill the pets?" No, and he's like, no, they're wild, but she like feeds them, like brings.
It's like a cat coming to your back porch and you give the thing a little bit of food or whatever.
She would walk out and like give the turkeys.
Oh my
food,
god!
But she's like, I hope you didn't hurt my turkeys, and I'm like, no, they're good. But
Things like slump neck like this. You're like,
Matt like threw it in the bushes.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So fast forward to Greenville, Ohio. He has like this whole thing, camp. He does like the Matt Light Foundation has a really good thing that they do. So Matt Light Shootout, I was on the board of that for years. And I go back to the camp, and this is in Ohio. And the whole time I'm like, I'm not going to sleep. Like, I'm not going to sleep because I think he's going to do something. Like, he put like ticks in my bed or something, like something messed up that I could see Matt do because he plays tricks on people and he does all these.
I feel
he's
like
never done it to me. Never. So I am always like, okay, it's a matter of time before something is done to me that I don't like. And I don't like being messed with. Like, you mess with me, I'm going to have to mess with you back. But
yeah,
like, he would take guys' cars and like,
he's got guys in the Thunderdome constantly. Like he's always got people like like you never know.
Like he shocked Bill. Like he put a freaking electric mouse on his computer. Like you've heard that story,
yeah.
right?
Oh yes, yeah. That was him.
Like Brennan Spikes like parked in a spot that maybe Matt didn't like, so he literally towed his car. He had a flatbed come and take his car.
I feel like Light might be the all-time prank guy.
So,
is he the all-time like?
I mean,
fuck
he
with you guy?
literally talk about. Jamie Marshall, a good friend of mine from Gloucester, he went on a hunting trip with Matt Light, okay? And this was I think they were in Texas. It was some like massive range, right?
Yeah.
Matt literally bought a domesticated turkey. Bought a turkey, white. Called it like the holy grail of turkeys. Placed it out in front of Jamie Marshall. Says, oh my God, Jamie, that's the biggest turkey ever. Kill it. Jamie goes to shoot it, fires, misses, doesn't hit the turkey. Any other turkey, if it sees you, it's gone. Spooked. The dude shoots at it, misses it. The turkey's still looking at him like, what's up? Reloads, kills it. And then he's in a whole article. They did this whole thing. Like, he's so proud. Like, oh, I killed the biggest turkey, a record turkey. It was all a joke.
Dude,
they had a camera on him the whole time.
I'm sorry, that is hysterical.
The whole time, and he never knew for like a year. He thought he had like a record.
But this is like in-depth shit.
In-depth,
like
yeah.
he thinks about this. Like he's like a Batman villain.
So I mean, I don't know if I should tell this, but there was
you definitely should tell.
I'm not going to say the name, but I think there was like a hidden camera in somebody's bedroom.
Oh no, this is terrible, man. This is not good.
And it was something like in some
come on,
training camp, and they would like watch the television.
No, man, that's
see
crazy.
See what was going on in the room.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's crazy. It's
no,
crazy.
That's insane stuff.
Like,
you can't do that.
You
like
can't do that. No,
that might be. I'm not gonna lie. Like Light, that might be the line, man. That's got to be the line. You're putting hidden. That's just insane.
Like, because what do you do in a hotel room? Come on.
But what did he do? But what did he plan to do
Nothing,
with
just
that
like,
information?
They would like go in there and like laugh about what the hell was going on. And
I'm sorry, man. I wouldn't trust that guy with a napkin.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to have him on the pod now.
Oh man.
He's gonna have something like.
Tell him about some story. Ask him about some stories. He'll tell you some.
Yeah, I mean he was great on Jules' podcast. He was crushing on there. What was I gonna say? Oh, did we want to? You know what? Oh, I thought he got pissed and left.
No, he's right there.
Oh, he's right there.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wait till Clooney gets back, and then we'll get him on for a couple of minutes. Yeah, that's George Clooney. He's George Clooney from ER.
He's got great hair too.
He has unbelievable hair, man.
Got great hair. You got good hair. Look at that hair.
What'd you say?
Did you transplant that?
No. You do have a great. You got a great beard, man. You really do.
Gray down here.
There's a little bit.
No,
yeah.
it's good. I think you got to grow it out a little bit, though.
I typically have it like ask these guys. I typically have like a beard. Like I mean, this year I kind of like more clean shaved and stuff like that. I lost a little bit of weight, so it was nice because this was like my fat protector for my whole life.
Oh yeah.
You know, every former fat guy knows that. Like if you can grow your facial hair the right way, you can kind of hide a little bit of double chin.
See, I got a definite double chin, bro.
No,
but I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
At this point, why would you give a fuck? You know what I'm saying?
I've had a beard since I was 21.
I was gonna say
at 18. I think I had a beard at 18.
You would look weird with no facial hair.
No,
like that would make me legitimately uncomfortable.
Shaved one time. My daughter cried.
And that was the opposite for me when I was a kid. My dad decided to try and grow a goatee one time, and it like traumatized me, freaked me out. I was like 5 years old. I remember flipping out crying.
I just don't like I feel like there's a little bit of unknown to a guy with a beard, like a little fear maybe. People think I'm like tougher than I
It's
actually am.
some kind of like a mask almost.
It's like
you know
a
what
mask.
I'm saying?
It's like a mask. But there's also some guys have no chin. You know, at
That
least
too.
I got a little chin. I'm good.
That too. I mean, Dr. LaPrette, look at this.
Doc's got the tough guy chin. He's strong.
chiseled, man. It's
Let's
like, here
bring
he
him in.
comes.
Let's have
bring
him
him in here. Here he comes.
Doctor.
All right, Doc. Here
Come on.
He's got a nice one over there. Yeah, but
We're going to slide that mic over.
yeah, just put it between Doc and myself. That'll be good. Doc, what's going on? Guys, we're here with Dr. Matthew Lopresti.
The world's smallest bladder.
Yeah, it's right. Oh, really? At this point?
It's tiny. Yeah.
Is it
Getting
really?
worse.
Every, like little by little every year?
It's about every 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, legit. Yeah, I was going to say, guy's well hydrated. So this is, by the way, my personal hair doctor, Nink. Who else? Wes Welker. List the client list.
Portnoy, McAvoy. Who else do we have?
Scal.
Right.
Yeah.
Just met him Friday night, by the way. His locks are looking great.
Scal's a great guy.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. You want to talk about a guy that really assimilated well, like after his career, much like you have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
Played
good.
here.
I was with him this past weekend. He does a great job, and he's in a great niche for what he loves. If he wasn't doing what he's doing right now for the Celtics, he'd be a coach somewhere. Like he
You think
loves
so?
basketball.
Yeah.
He was telling me, he's like, this is what I would do. Like he's a player and he's going to coach, and it's a perfect spot for him to be. So and he does a great job, and he's entertaining.
Because you can tell he has fun. He just has like fun with it.
He has fun with it, and he tells
it.
it like it is. If you just tell it like it is, and you're honest, and you give your honest opinion, I mean, yeah, sometimes people might be like, dude, that sucks, but you're just observing. It's easy when people are winning, though. Like the Celtics are good. It's really easy when everyone's good.
You're splitting hairs to nitpick at them at any
I've had
given
a bunch
time.
of shit where it's because it's you're just trying to cover a team that's struggling. Like when the Patriots aren't doing great, it's like I'm not gonna say they're doing great.
Yeah, because you know what though, it's tough though for guys. I feel like yourself and Scal, guys who played their whole careers, with one team for the most part. I mean, Scal, I think he was with New Jersey before he came here or wherever, but made his bones with one team. It's tough to criticize that team, I'd imagine. You know what I mean? Because it's still like.
Well, you still have relationships.
You still have relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People in the front office. It's still like the place
Yeah.
for you. It's like me like making fun of my old high school. I don't like to do it, but I have to sometimes because it's just shit got kind of
Gotta
weird.
keep it real, man.
Yeah, you know what it is. But yeah, so either way, like I was gonna say, so here with Dr. Lopresti, right? What did I have done? Because whatever I had done was the follicular. Forgive me if I forget it off the top of my head.
FUE.
FUE.
That's individual.
You guys can see it right here. I will show you guys a before picture before I had. How am I looking so far?
So far, so good. But still really early, right? You're only about maybe 5-6 months.
February. How much?
So
What's February there?
It could be what is that? 7 months.
7, yeah, 7 coming up on 8 months, right?
So it's still really early. This takes up to 18 months. So
Year and a half
year
before
and
you
a half,
see
18
full
months,
everything.
Year and a half. Yeah.
Right.
So FUE, which allows you to keep your hair short, which is which by the way, Rob hasn't had a transplant.
Yeah. So
yet,
I've never done a transplant, but for he's got to be closer.
Oh, you gotta get closer.
So I've never had a transplant, but
Right.
for what is it like maybe 7 or 8, 9? No, it's probably 8 or 9 years.
Maybe 8
8 years.
or so.
If
being in the
you
office.
so for anybody that has hair, because I knew my dad is bald, right? And I have thinning in the back and I have thinning at the crown. How do I slow down the progression? Because basically there's like this chart, and what's it called?
the Norwood scale.
It's a scale to where your progression starts either from front to back, and it kind of meets in the middle. So like guys lose their front first, or guys have a spot in the back, right? Slowly but gradually, it's gonna go, right?
Yep.
So how do I prolong? I'm 40 years old right now, so it's like if I was gonna be bald at 32. Maybe I can push that 10 years down the road.
Because I'm the opposite of my dad. My dad has the bald spot. My hairline went first. My dad still has most of his hairline, but the bald spot was his thing, and my grandfather's.
So like and everyone talks about like, oh, hair is not a big deal. Yeah, people want to keep their hair. Men want to keep their hair too.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, because when you lose it, you can't get it back.
Like every single bald guy, sorry, Jeff, wants to have hair, okay? Like if they could choose, like, hey, do you want to be bald or you want to have hair? They'd probably be like, fuck, give me the full head of hair.
Jeff, do you have a picture of you with hair somewhere? I would love to see this,
I've
by the
actually
way.
never seen that myself.
I've never seen it either. I kind of want to see it. Shop by has no problem with that, by the way. This guy looks like fucking Brendan
Like a lot
Fraser.
of people, like a friend of mine went to Turkey and did like this crazy transplant, and there are only a certain amount of hairs that you should transplant, or can, right,
Yep.
that are work, that are functional. This guy went and did a ton. And you want to make the right decision. That's why being here and going to doc is the smart thing to do, because number one, you don't want to transplant a part of your head that potentially maybe
gonna fall
down the
out.
road will fall out, right?
Fall
So
out, right.
like for me, I'm always going to be thin in the back. Like I don't care. I'll be thin in the back. I'm tall.
Sure.
I'll take all my transplantable hair and I just want from here to here. I want this coverage to be okay.
Yeah.
And if I have a bald spot, I don't give a shit.
Because at the end of the day, it's like you got to think of it from a standpoint of your hair is something you want to do right the first time. Like
No,
you don't want to
there's-
mess around with that. Like put it this way, ask anybody who had like the plug thing back in the day or any of the way they used to do that shit. Like it's like when you mess it up once, it's tough to like. It makes this guy's job way harder. You know what I mean?
The
And
scar
it's-
tissue.
You can't undo
Yeah.
it. Once it's done, it's done.
Right.
So you cannot undo it. So to Rob's point, like when people go overseas, they'll take everything that you have, and once that's gone, it's gone, and then you
Right.
can't fix it. So it's
Yeah, and it's.
maintenance.
I think me personally, this is my personal account. I think I came in at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Because I was
stayed a step ahead.
stayed a step. I mean, that was more of what it was for me. It was more of a preventative thing. I was like, you know what? I'm already like back to like here. I'm now back up here. I'm up a full. I would say what about 3/4 of an inch?
About that.
About that, right? And
We
we're
also
still-
have to realize there are realistic and unrealistic hairlines. So
Thank you for
when
this great point, Rob.
A lot of people naturally are born with a specific hairline. Like if you look at my hairline, I've always had my hair right here. Like my hair has always been here. Now these have receded. Like I used to have hair when I was a kid, when I was in high school, 20s, I used to just take my hair and just go straight up with it. Now I can't do that, right? Because it goes back, but that's natural. So
Yup.
when you have like a 40-year-old guy that comes in, he's like, I want like a boxed,
Drake's hairline.
I want like a boxed hairline. That's not a realistic hairline. So
Right.
there has to also be, and I talked about this earlier, with some realistic expectations with what you should get out of having a
Absolutely.
procedure.
And this guy will know. They'll
Yeah.
know like
and
how
they
it's
gotta
supposed to
so
look.
like my nephew actually is 20 years old. He came in.
Yep.
He has a very, very high hairline. He's high hairline. Like that is unfortunately, like he's gonna have to deal with that. He couldn't
Yeah.
he couldn't have a hair transplant and put it low like mine. Like he just couldn't do it. It's just the way his genetics happen
Right.
to work for
And
him.
even if Rob came in or someone came in like Rob with his hairline, I still would transplant behind it. I still wouldn't transplant where, I mean, he's naturally there, but I wouldn't ever put it there because then it's there forever.
Yeah.
So to his point, as he ages and gets, 60, 70, 80 years old, you want to make sure it still looks normal.
And the other part of it is like it's not just like a one-time thing. You go see Dr. Lepresti and like it's magically fixed. It's up to you to do the right things to maintain with minoxidil, finasteride, minoxidil, things like that. Like you have to
Right.
kind of like listen. And if you can't take a pill in the morning, especially when you're getting into like the later years in life, like I don't know what to tell you. Like you can maintain this kind of thing and keep up with it. They give you the tools to keep up with it. They tell you what you're supposed to do. That's the other thing about going and getting done overseas. You don't get that kind of like
Well, it's just
sort of intimate, like this is my doctor, it's a serious thing that I had done, and this guy's kind of guiding me
It's
through
just
the whole
a
thing.
it's just a cattle thing. Like
Right.
just bring them in, bring them out.
Oh,
Bring
yeah.
'em- how many people we can get 5 done today? Well, 10 grand
They
a
do
pop.
more.
Like,
They'll put
yeah.
like 20 people in a room and
20
just like,
people.
if
bed by bed. And just,
if us 3 guys buy plane tickets right now to Istanbul, Turkey, okay, we are going out there, I guarantee you, with 75% of a plane full of guys going out there to get their hair done. I'm telling you right now.
Turkish Airlines.
Turkish Airlines, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly. And then our flight home is a bunch of dudes with their head bandaged.
So, like, for me, this is what I take. I do Propecia, I take Rogaine, I do laser, I do 2 times a year, I'll do the PRP shots.
You the hat, get the hat, the helmet thing, the
Yeah,
laser
yeah, yeah.
thing.
Do that every day. My wife
Yeah.
makes fun of me, but it's all right. It's at night. Take that sucker off. It's gone.
I've
6
actually
minutes.
worn that once at night going to the mailbox, and I didn't realize it glows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like red, right?
Yeah,
it's like you
red
look like
light.
a Star Wars character.
Sure, that
It's
neighbor looks
hilarious.
outside the window and sees a red floating
So
thing.
it's
through
just trying to stay on top of it. Now, how long? Eventually, I'll probably do something because I'm not a candidate for the line because I always keep a fade. So I'll do
Yeah.
the FUE.
FUE,
Yeah.
yep.
That's
I recommend the
individual.
FUE person. I mean, like that. I mean, I know
It
it's
depends on
different
how you
for
keep your hair. Like,
every-
it-
yeah,
it's-
exactly.
Like
Hairstyle.
if he had hair like with how long his hair is, he
Yeah,
could
'cause your hair
do-
is down to like your chin.
Yeah.
Just-
He'll
someone's
never
never gonna
lose his-
shave it.
right.
No, the hair itself.
He'll never lose his hair though. He's got great hair.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, he's.
See, he wants
Yeah,
to
so
square.
He wants to
And I
square,
wouldn't do
see?
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
I
can't,
personally
you
wouldn't do it.
can't.
I mean, I've never had transplants myself, and I'll be 45, and I've been doing.
You have horse hair though.
Yeah, legit.
I've been doing, but I'm the only guy, honestly. I mean, I've obviously siblings, cousins, grandparents, uncles. Most of all of them are completely skin bald.
No
And
shit.
I started doing maintenance therapy when I was 23, and I'll be 45. So it does work.
Yeah.
It's just coming in and just discussing it.
Now
and
that
see what
so that
fits.
was 22 years ago, right? You've been doing the maintenance thing. Now I feel like you had a little bit of a leg up on the competition because that was already something you wanted to do and were interested in at the time. So you were kind of hip to the things that you could do.
I just didn't want to lose it. So it wasn't. I didn't think that I was actually going to be doing this as a profession. I just didn't want to lose my hair. To just go back to Rob's point. Like I don't think any guy wants to.
I can tell you honestly, man. Like once you get it, I say get it back. I mean, really, yeah. You do, right? You're so glad that you did.
Did you ever do the BHT?
Did I?
It's the body
No.
hair transplant.
No. What is it?
Rob sends me these things every couple of weeks.
What is that? Hold
No,
on. Wait a
there are
minute.
people that have taken their chest hair and their
No,
pubes.
come on, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
Yeah, you get like
Arm
an
hair.
afro puff that's like just pops.
There've been people that taken arm hair.
Yeah,
We have
take arm
we have
hair.
old pictures of someone did an incision all the way down their forearm and took their arm hair out. It's crazy.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
That's just like bizarre world freak.
That's the other thing too.
That's
When
just
when
crazy.
people that go to Turkey, they'll take all your hair and they'll take all your facial hair, which by the way leaves scars all over your face.
Oh.
They'll take everything.
Dude, that's crazy to think about.
We've had people asked to transplant armpit hair. We had pubic hair. We asked them to
No,
do that
come on,
too.
guys, this is getting ridiculous. Are you serious with this
Guess
shit?
what? Hey,
Where do these people come from,
how do you
man?
get? It's just having a Jerry curl without the Jerry.
It's true, yeah, right. Without Jerry,
Just straight
exactly,
curl it
right.
up.
Just curl. Yeah, exactly. No, that's what is the craziest fix you've been asked? Like, what was the
Ass
actual
hair.
thing where you were like? It's a dude's podcast, man. Let's go. So now that no chicks are listening to the
Hey,
show
dudes
anymore.
on dudes.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Yeah,
like
right.
Julian and Gronk.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, that's
When are you going on that show?
I don't know.
They gotta call you.
Yeah, we're actually gonna Monday or Tuesday.
It's about time.
We got a couple guys we're gonna get together and
Good.
give a
Love
little
it.
shout back on them.
There we go. Yeah. What else should people? So, like I said, you come in for the consultation. They're gonna tell you. They'll meet with Mark.
Usually Mark.
And if you're there, you're obviously going to come in and give your
course.
2 cents, always like you did with me, right? And then, they're going to kind of go from there, tell you, by the way, it's not like just one thing. Doc is going to look at what you need and give you what you need. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like hey, we just take this much and we're just going to do, it's very specific to you.
Yes.
And kind of how you want to look. Ultimately, your decision is kind of your own on how you really want to look. But trust the pro here. Take my advice on that.
We get that from patients all the time when we're ready for transplants, how many grafts I'm going to get? And the answer is, I don't know.
No, right.
Everybody's different, but people want to know, well, how many am I going to get? So you're going to be different, Jeff's going to be impossible. But
It's also
everybody's different.
Certain people are not candidates for transplants.
absolutely.
It depends on the type of hair. I do a lot of research on things. So you have what is
Yes,
this?
yes, you do.
1, 2s or 3s, right? You have your
Yeah,
fillers.
4s, yep.
You have certain hairs that are good for your hairline, more that are good for filling in areas. So it depends on how many you have.
I'm fascinated by how much you know about hair transplantation. I'm not going to lie to you.
Ask
It's
me about
absolutely
ACLs,
kinda
ask me about
honestly,
knees, ask me about backs. I know
Yeah,
everything.
I was going to say.
Rob literally will send me stuff every week.
We need Nink Consulting is what we need at some point. For
And that's the stuff I send you that I'm intrigued by. You should see the stuff I think about sending you. I'm like, I'm not gonna send
let
that.
me not. I want this guy to
I'm
still
not
talk
gonna
to me.
send- I'm not gonna send that. I'm not gonna send
exactly.
that.
Jeff donor area might be okay though.
Yeah,
No, the back of your head.
Jeff
it's
will be body hair transplants.
it's
thin.
is it really?
it's not.
It looks like it would be full from the length you have it at right now. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
And that's also to Rob's point. People will come in and Jeff might be at the front desk and they, obviously see Jeff and they're like, you're working a hair transplant clinic and what are you doing at the front desk?
I didn't think about
You
that.
know?
That's
But,
awesome.
some people are just not candidates, and that's the thing is we're always going to be honest with it.
You have to. I mean, at the end of the day,
Be
too.
honest with it.
You at some point everyone wants to keep their hair every once, but at the end of the day, you just got to deal with what you got. You want to improve yourself, and everyone's about self improvement, right? That's why we work out. That's why we sometimes I'll have these nice beautiful French fries and a chicken sandwich. It's just you pick and choose what you want to make yourself feel good.
I don't know anybody that I know that's gotten a hair transplant and regretted it. Because I know about like 9. What'd you say?
Oh, I certainly have, but I also see thousands of people.
Yeah, I mean from the 7 to 8 guys I know that have had one done, they're like, dude, I'm so glad I did it.
I think
when I did.
I've known more people that regret doing the strip technique than
That's the thing that I think people sometimes would
because then you're
hesitate on.
limited to what you can do with your hair forever.
Now, are some people only for the strip and some people only for the FUE?
Rob mentioned it earlier. It's really hairstyle. Do you want to keep it
Hairstyle. Yeah,
short
it's your
or not?
hairstyle, yeah.
Got
and
you.
there's definitely a pro and con between each one. One's always going to win out, the other one won't. But there's limitations for sure.
Like my personal recovery process, if you well, technically, yeah, that is what it is,
quick.
right? So I remember showing Jeff, I was like, hey, listen, like in month 3, 4, I was keeping my hair very short, like almost wiffle length, because you could still see that like my hairline was back. It just might have looked a little bit thinner in certain, but you could see that the hairline was there. And I'm like, if I'm gonna get the most out of this as quickly as possible, like that's what I gotta do. And then I waited till it grew in a little thicker, and now we have like some volume in the front and stuff, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you kind of gotta know how to space that out and like how you're gonna go about
Did you
it.
shave your head before you had the procedure?
I
done?
did, yeah, I buzzed that whole
Pretty
thing
close.
down, right?
Probably
Yeah,
like a 1. Yeah.
I was a 1,
Probably
yeah,
like a 1.
like about like this.
Is that what people do for that procedure?
No, I mean I don't, unless patients want to.
Got it.
I typically don't, except for the back and the sides.
Yeah, you
that,
just
that'll
gotta
always
skin-
take all the way
yeah.
down.
Yeah, I came in borderline Q bald.
Yeah.
I was bald. I was very fuzzy that day.
I would say it's very
absolutely.
rare though. I mean, I would prefer it, because it's easier on my end, but it's not necessary. at all.
It's not. I thought that was the thing. I thought it made
No.
it easier for you to get to like the follicles and like see things.
The back
and
and the
shit.
sides, yes. That's another thing overseas. They will shave everyone's head, immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? It's funny you say that. I
I'll
do
do it.
remember you saying this because you're like, just keep the sides and back short.
Military, yeah, military. thing.
Yeah, exactly. You can keep the top of you. And I was I'm like, at this point, I'm just gonna I want it all to row back even. So I was like, let me just take this whole thing off. Doc, is there anything else you want the people to know about the lovely practice?
No, I think going back to Rob's, Rob ruined beard transplants that I used to do because everybody wanted his beard.
It's a
Everybody.
it's very
They
Paul
want
Bunyan.
Rob's
It's
beard.
very Paul Bunyan-y.
It is.
Like it's a
Well,
Midwest
the-
wish I
beard.
had it.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the lip. It's the lip coverage. A lot of people can't get
Don't
that.
have it.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't.
I
have
don't.
It. No,
Yeah.
most
I don't
people
have it. I get down here. This is open. You get the full chin. I don't
Full
get
chin.
that.
Full
I have
chin.
this
And
patch
I'm
right
getting
here.
braids. It's
Docs get
coming.
the same. I think it's an Italian thing. The
coming
dogs
in.
get the same thing. We just get this right here. You
Yeah.
have the full chin.
Yeah,
It's-
and if you don't have a beard, it's just you just weren't that manly, I guess.
I know.
No.
You could have had a 6 soul patch probably back
can't-
in like
you can't pull off a
2001
wolf shirt.
You know what I'm saying? No, you can't. Yeah, this
rock
is.
the wolf, baby.
I was. How many animals do you actually have?
So
It's-
these are called the mountain tees. So
Okay.
if you go on Amazon,
plug.
just the mountain, and you could go wolf, you could go bear, you could go.
and you can find them in any Spencer's, Hot
You
Topic.
could, you could go golden retriever.
They're
you know,
there,
you
yeah.
could go you can go wherever you want.
I mean, when I think of somebody that shops in those stores.
It's one wolf with like a moon behind it, and
Yeah.
it's like half purple and half blue. It's sick.
The hunter
gonna
green
be-
one with a cat on it.
I got
That'll
a
be my
hunter
next
green
tattoo.
one.
That's
One
what-
that if it
what
looks
is-
like trees, and then if you turn one way, it's like a bear. Sick.
The Lisa Frank ones with the dolphins that are like turquoise
Yep.
and pink.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's the next tat for Doc right here, by the way? Quickly off topic hair thing.
I don't know. I think Jeff would probably kill me, but I'm probably gonna start moving to full sleeve.
Are you really? We got to get Jeff
Not
a neck.
yet.
We got to get Jeff a neck
Not
tat
yet.
at some point. We got to really get it. We got to do something here. No, we want to like get. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you could rock one. You know what I mean? Little teardrop under your eye.
A hair follicle on his.
Well, yeah, we need a hair follicle like right under your eye, so like you know what I'm saying. That's what we need right there.
Teardrop.
Maybe the inside of your lip. You know what I'm saying? You know, whatever. Doesn't matter. There's and where can they just like go on the website?
Yeah,
IG?
so hairdr.com.
Yeah.
We have 5 locations, primarily out of Newton, Mass, or Warwick, Rhode Island. But yeah, hairdr.com, easiest, right?
That's it. So guys, again, make the phone call, set up the consultation, and then just go from there. If you're thinking about it, at least go in for the consultation and get a professional opinion, get some kind of game plan. You're gonna walk out with much more of a peace of mind than you did before you were going. Because right now you're like, struggle. What am I gonna do? You're looking things up. Just go to the expert.
The first step is just making the call, and it's only just a conversation. There's nothing there's no pressure. You leave the office, you decide not to do anything, you don't do anything. So it's
Yeah,
Pretty easy.
exactly. They don't have a gun to your head in this place. You know what I mean? Jeff might behind the desk. I don't know, like as you're walking out. But yeah, no. Other than that, very comfortable environment. Everybody there is very like hands-on and wants to make sure you're having the best experience possible. By the way, you would think by the way I'm describing this office that I would have made my last 3 appointments.
He has not.
Shit, I have not. Shit's been coming up. I get a chirp from Jeff every couple weeks. But I'm looking forward to going back and like just being around these people again. It's fun. It's a good like fun energy place to be. It's just very comforting because they know it's a big thing. It's a big thing that you're doing, so they want to make this as easy as they possibly can for you.
Absolutely.
You know? Appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you a lot. Great to have you on.
You too.
Honestly.
Thank you, man.
Honestly. Dr. Lopresti, do you want to jump
Yeah.
on? Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. No problem at all. We get Jeff on a pod at some point, man. We really do. The world's most handsome doctor right there.
Good looking guy.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Good
our guy,
looking
right?
guy.
It's our guy right there.
He works
you know?
out.
He does. Yeah, you could tell. You know what I mean? He knew what he was doing when he like dressed up to come here today. It was like, I'm
That's
gonna
his daily. That's
he's
his
like, I'm gonna
daily.
just destroy everybody that's on this set right now. What would you say to pick this back up? Advice that you would give to like kids that are trying to play college sports, like. You got sons that play football, right? You have sons that play football.
Yep.
So how are you handling that whole? Do you only want to coach them to a certain level and then let somebody else handle it, even if it's just some guy who's
No.
like? How do you want to do this?
I'll coach them hard, and I'll coach them as long as I feel that they're enjoying it. If they don't want to do it, I'm not going to force them to do it.
Sure.
You know, I was always taught at a young age. You know, I went out for wrestling in 8th grade, and I was 185 pounds. And they put me up with this kid, Jason Zanieri. He was like 390. And he was so fat. Yes. They put me at heavyweight.
Is that legal in
Yeah, I was a heavyweight. They put me at heavyweight. And I
Okay.
was having to wrestle this kid that was like almost 400 pounds. And it sucked. My first day of practice, I came home and I go, Dad, I don't want to do this. He goes, well, you're going to fucking do it, and you're going to do it until the end of the year, and then once your year's over, you can decide to not wrestle again, but you're going to finish the year out. So I did it. I finished the year out, and I hated every second of it, and I didn't wrestle. I mean, no offense to wrestlers. It wasn't my thing.
Just wasn't your thing, that's all.
I never did it. Most kids that wrestle, they wrestle at a young age, and then, I put that singlet on. I saw my wiener. I'm like, what the hell? I'm going to have to go out in front of people
you're
like
this is going to be a tough sell here.
There's no way. So I didn't like that. And then, so I was always taught, if you're going to start something, you got to finish it. So I'll teach my boys the same thing. You want to play football, play football. You want to play baseball.
Do you want to coach at a higher level at any point?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to coach them now because there's also a lot of idiot coaches out there,
I was going to say,
not saying that I'm smarter than anybody, but there's also the way that you teach something and the way that you implement it to especially high school kids. And, there's a lot of overzealous like high school athletes that never made it. So like, they feel like they're like this is their next big thing, so they're like crazy. So I'll try to help as much as I can. And if my boys don't want to play football, I don't give a shit.
Right. Do you think you would
You
go
got to
for
do
like
something that you have to do something though. You can't do nothing. That's my thing.
I
have to do something.
I told my 17-year-old sister this, who's like at Melrose High. I'm like, you got to like have like even if you just have like a weekend job, like do something.
You can't.
It
do
doesn't
nothing.
matter. I don't care. I really don't care. Me and Dad don't care if you don't play sports, but like,
yeah, I don't care. Like you got to do something. So like for me, I just try to instill like, hey, you got to do something. You got to work hard. They're young. I'm probably crazy at practice. Parents probably think I'm nuts because I yell at the kids, but they need it. Like kids need direction. They need to be told, all right, this is what you're doing. This is how we're doing it. Like I have bands, right? So if you're a red band, if you're purple, if you're green, if you're yellow, if you're orange, I throw the card up. That's what your color is. You run the play, come back. Don't complain if you don't get the ball. The next play, you might get the ball.
Yeah.
But it's trying to instill like, this is a process and we're learning. So like practices, and tomorrow we have a practice, and then our game's on Sunday. Like, and if you win, and this other thing too, you have to win.
Yeah.
Winning is everything.
Yeah.
Not just participating.
I like
if
this.
you participate and you don't win, that's not life.
I told my 10-year-old nephew.
Everybody wins in life. No, not everybody.
Not right.
Everybody has an opportunity to win, and there are losers in life. You have to make the best of your opportunity.
I told my 10-year-old nephew, he's big into baseball right now. I go, listen, the whole point of this is whenever you're out there, you're trying to be the best.
You're trying to win.
You're trying to win. You're trying to be the best. And I'm like, I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't care if you're a lawyer. I don't care what you are.
You're competing.
Be the best lawyer. Be the best doctor. Otherwise, what are you doing? Like, be the best at whatever you're trying to do.
The whole everyone participate gets a trophy. Like, I hate it. Like, yes, participate, but work at what you're doing. Try to be good. Try to learn. Try to progress into something. And you never know. Like, if I just had the attitude of, oh, I'm just participating in this, and I never took it as like a serious thing, I never would have made it into a serious profession and never would have made it.
You're a passenger at that point.
Exactly.
You're just in the back seat chilling.
You're not giving yourself the opportunity to do something with it.
So, personal account here, not that anybody gives a shit about my youth baseball experience, but to Nink's point here and how that kind of like shaped my mentality going forward in life. 4th, 5th, 6th grade baseball, right? I had made the all-star team as a 4th grader, 5th grader, 6th grader. I get left off the team in 7th grade. We switched to wood bats in Georgetown youth baseball. Don't ask me why. My average dropped by like 25 points. I just did not have a good season. They left me off the 12-year-old all-star team. We had never won an all-star championship until that year I got left off the team, and I had to watch all my friends go and do it. I was devastated at my house all summer. I couldn't play baseball, right? Freshman year, 8th grade comes around. I don't make the 18 for Babe Ruth, right? Freshman year comes around where I'm second year Babe Ruth. Don't make the A team either. All my buddies do. I got to sit on the B team. What did I do going from freshman year into sophomore year? Because I didn't play high school baseball my freshman year. I was pretty jaded at that point. I made this team as a sophomore.
Let's go.
Made varsity as a sophomore. And you know how I
say juice, but
and you know how I made it?
What did I do?
Wait.
Mark McGuire.
Dannibal. No.
Yes.
What was I going to say? You know how I pulled it off?
Batting practice.
Said I was a catcher. We needed a third catcher.
Do what you got to do.
I was just the guy. Whatever I had to do to get on that team.
Do what you got to do.
I was like, that's what I got to do. I got to be. I'm not even a catcher really, but I'll do it if it gets me a spot. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? What was I gonna say to close this show out? Where are you at? Would you say with like how you're looking at, you know, your post-playing career and what you got everything lined up and how you're liking being a dad and coaching? I'm surprised, by the way. Not surprised. Some guys have the off switch, some guys don't. Some guys that played big-time, high-level sports don't have the patience to coach youth sports. I don't know that I would. Like, I don't know that I would be able to coach my son in like a T-ball or something like that or whatever. I'd be like, I'm going to lose my mind. I can't like...
Well, I rip my son out and say that wasn't good enough and then put another kid in and then tell him why, and then he goes back in and he corrects it. But I try to be tough on everybody. I mean, I think that's what you're supposed to do. I try not to be overly tough on just my son, but it's easier because I can yell at him. And other kids, you're kind of like walking a line. But, you know, I think my personality from when I was playing till now is definitely different. I wish I took some of those... I wish I had a little bit more patience when I was a player because I was very like, but the stress levels are way higher. Like every single day you're being criticized, critiqued, measured, tried to replace. Like they're trying to replace you. They're telling you suck. They're telling you you're old. They're telling you you're not good enough. So you're trying to just stay above at a pace. And that pace kind of wears you out, and then physically it wears you out. So
no, that's tough.
After I retired, I was like, dude, I felt so good. And a lot of people say, dude, you look better now than you did as a football player, like physically.
Yeah, I mean,
because I think it's like a mental and physical toll. And
dude, every day you're like,
you've made it to that status of like playing football for such a long time. It's like, yeah, I did that, man. I'm great. I'm happy. And now I have my kids and I got the family. And, you know, I do the Dan and Nico show. I like to do a pod. I don't chase stuff. I don't look for advertising. And no offense to the advertising. This is great stuff. Yeah. But I don't seek it because I don't give a shit if I make it.
You don't need it, really, to be honest with you.
You're just doing it. I like to talk about football. I like to talk about sports. I like to talk about cars. I just picked up a 65 Impala. I got to go get that.
I was going to say, you're always working on a truck or some shit. Yep. Like, you always got some different stuff.
I'm flying to Oklahoma City to drive a 50-yard Apache all the way back on the November 3rd.
What's the dream car?
I have them all.
Legit?
Yeah.
You got all of them? Yeah. What was the first one you had to check off the checklist?
70 Chevelle SS.
Oh.
I had that. Yeah,
where'd you get that one?
Right now, I got a 2019 Z01 Corvette manual, sick. I got a 1979 F-150 Ranger, like brand new, sick. I got a 70 Buick Electra outside right now, convertible, sick.
That's what you pulled up in?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to pull up in like an F-350 diesel, like dually truck. Oh, really?
That's my daily.
Just need a CDL license to drive this thing?
I got a 59 Chevy Apache. That's what I'm going to go get. A 65 Impala. I got my grandpa's 97 Yukon 2-door.
Where is all this? What do you have? Do you have in Jay Leno's house? Where do you like?
A rental. I have like a little booth that I rent.
Oh,
1,500
legit?
square feet. So I can park like 10 cars in there.
That was like the passion project. Were you
That's
like,
it.
as a player, I'm in the big
That's
leagues,
it.
I'm making the big bucks. Like, this
Yeah.
is what I'm definitely
Well,
going to do.
you got to
with
buy the right cars. All those cars appreciated.
Right.
Try not to buy the stuff that depreciates. My wife's car, my truck, that depreciates.
Yeah.
The stuff you can't buy anymore, that's the stuff that
So you're not
appreciates.
picking up an 08 Camry anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
Probably not an 08.
Like a 2012 Honda Pilot.
I do like maybe like an 02 Firebird or something like that.
Remember when they brought those back?
the Firehawk?
Yeah, right? Or the Thunderbirds, I'm saying, whatever
Thunderbirds,
Ford did. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I enjoy the car thing. It's like it's a big part of what I like to do post football.
And I guess the last thing I'm going to leave you, because this is how we've been ending these episodes. You have kids that play youth sports in Massachusetts.
Yep.
Okay. How do you feel about the MIA? Do you pay any attention to that? Like how they govern and run high school sports or anything of that nature? Like,
my whole thought process on it is like, if my daughter is competing against people that are like her, I think that's fair. If they're like me, I think that's unfair.
it's pretty much it.
That's it. It's
Yeah.
actually, at the end of the day, I think it's just common sense. Like, we just need a common sense rule.
Yeah.
Like, if a girl wanted to play football, how come no girls that play football?
Because Zolak was talking
they would
about
get destroyed.
Yeah, because Zolak was
So-
talking about like how they do this thing where like they have these private schools. I don't know how it was in Indiana, but he was drawing the parallel to PA high school football, where it's like everybody really just plays for public high schools. And
Yeah, we don't have private schools in Illinois. It's all
Oh,
public.
legit?
Yeah, I went to Lincoln Way Central. It was like I had 1,400 kids in my class.
Shit.
Big.
Damn, so you were in a big high school.
Yeah, so we had cuts, A, B team, 115 kids try out for baseball.
Damn, really?
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's awesome though.
Yeah.
No, that's good stuff.
Graduated, didn't know half the people. I'm like, who the
I
hell
was
is
gonna
that?
say you probably went to high school with people. You know, I graduated 92 kids up the highway at Georgetown High, like legit.
Yeah. How many?
92.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. I know every single person I graduated with, where they live in town, their parents, all types of shit. It's
that
crazy.
sucks. I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, right. There's too many people knowing what's up. This is a great episode. I'm so glad you came on the show. Hope you had fun.
Oh, yeah, man.
This
Had
is
a great
kind of how I
time.
run this bad,
Yeah,
Larry.
sweet.
We got Seabass and I got Cam Neely and Don Sweeney kind of mad at me for the Jeremy Swayman episode, I think. But other than that, this show has been great so far. It was nice to finally have you on, man. Seriously,
man.
this is great,
Hey,
my man.
nice to see you,
Seriously.
brother.
I hope we have Nink on again at some point down the road. And yeah, absolutely. That's another episode of Shut Up Mark. Thank you to Dave's Hot Chicken and Saugus for hosting this. That's the brand. Top Dog Law and the Jewel at 54 Union Street in Attleboro. And that, my friends, is another episode of Shut Up Mark.